In today's video, let's recreate the CMYK halftone effect demonstrated by texturelabs in Affinity Photo. If you haven't watched the texturelabs video, I'll put a link in the description. It's definitely worth watching. Brady from texturelabs not only demonstrates the effect but also gives a nice explanation how it works. Thumbs up for Brady. So the first thing we need to do is to get the two patterns from the texturelabs website. Link is in the description. As we will be using Affinity, it is easier to download the TIFF version. Once we have the two files downloaded, we can now switch to Affinity and use them with our image. But before doing that, we need to switch to the CMYK format. From the menu, go to Document and choose Convert Format. From the dialog, let's switch this to CMYK 8 and press Convert. Now that our document is in CMYK color space, we can drag and drop the first TIFF file to our document, the dots pattern. Depending on your document, the pattern file will be either too big or too small for your canvas. But no worries, this is a pattern file, so what we first need to do is to convert this to a pattern layer. With the layer we just imported selected, open up the layer menu and choose New Pattern from Selection. This will create a new pattern layer and we can hide the original pattern image we imported. We can now adjust the pattern to fit our document. Next step is set the blend mode of the pattern layer to hard mix. And we basically get the halftone effect we're looking for. Adjust the pattern size and make sure not to make it too small as the pattern will get lost. So for my document, this looks about right. To get a bit of a smoother pattern, we can go to the image layer and add a live Gaussian blur filter. Just a slight blur will be enough. Before we're going to apply the second pattern provided by texturelabs, I'm going to add a curves adjustment to the image. With the help of the curves adjustment, we can improve the effect of the pattern. For example, by brightening up the darker areas, the background also gets a pattern, and by adjusting the yellow curve, we get a warmer vintage look. I'm also going to adjust the black channel to get a bit more black tones in the halftone. Awesome! One last step before importing the next TIFF file. Let's select our pattern and change the fill percentage to around 65%. If you don't have the effects panel enabled, you can also open up the blend options and change the fill here. Time to import the second TIFF file. I'll drag and drop it to my canvas so it gets imported. Just as before, we need to convert this to a pattern layer using the layer menu. Let's hide the original and set the blend mode of the newly created pattern layer to screen. Resize and reposition if needed. The second pattern just adds some noise and makes the halftone effect more organic. Optionally, we can lower the opacity to our needs. Before leaving you, let's also recreate the creative use of this effect shown by texturelabs at the end of the video. I'm going to add a rectangle in white on top of the image, below the pattern layers. Then I'll add 4 circles and fill them with cyan, magenta, yellow and black. Let's select the 4 circles and set their blend mode to multiply and move them as a child to the rectangle. We can now set the blend mode of the white rectangle to lighten or screen and adjust the positions of the circles to get interesting effects. Optionally, you can also add an exposure adjustment below the white fill to boost up the colors if needed. One quick note. The document is in CMYK color mode. To use this in an RGB document, we can do a merge visible and then copy the created layer. Now let's create a new document from the clipboard and use the document menu to change the document to RGB. You should now be able to copy and paste this into a regular RGB document. Hope this helps. Thanks again for tuning in and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons before you leave. See you in the next video.